What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sip-Off, where we have drinks and we talk all things basketball. We got a jam-packed show for you. We're in the middle of the NCAA tournament. We're almost to the playoffs for the NBA. WNBA is going to start very soon, so it's a basketball world, and we're living in it. So let me go ahead and get my co-hosts. Got
What's
Jahan. What's up,
up?
Jahan?
How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Oh, okay. I would prefer it if it was Hennessy.
I would prefer Dr. Pepper, Texas oil.
Gross. Dr. Pepper's nasty.
It's the best.
How's your week been?
Glad tomorrow's Friday. Thankful that tomorrow's Friday. Just trying to stay focused on the finish line. Yours?
It has been really busy for the last 2 weeks. Got a chance to cover the Texas Tech ladies in their first 2 rounds of the NIT tournament.
Red Raiders.
It was an awesome experience. Don't get me wrong, to the day I die, Texas forever.
Red Raiders.
I'm super thankful for I don't know who this is. I don't know why it does that. I think whenever you comment on the stream from a group, it doesn't
Ain't that Mike? When that Mike?
Is it Mike? I don't know. If you comment in the group on the stream.
Facebook user, who are you?
But always thankful on the opportunity to cover any team that'll let me in their stadium. And then at that, they let me take Kennedy down there to the press conference with me. So
yeah, that's cold. That's cold-blooded.
I'm sitting there talking to Krista Gerlich, and Kennedy's right next to me.
Yeah,
so
that's cold-blooded. That would be dope.
It was, and it was her 16th birthday on Sunday. So last week was spring break, and just being able to take her with me and just, kind of show her what I do when I'm like usually out of town doing it.
Happy belated Ken awesome. Day.
Right. All right. We're going to go ahead and get our guests. We got Joseph Jenkins. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, what's going on?
Every week it's Family Matters. Like, oh.
Whatever happened.
Every week.
I'm so
glad you're consistent.
My boy got a haircut. Look, you can't tell me nothing out here. Boy, okay. Got a haircut. He acting up.
How's your week been?
Good. How about yours?
Okay.
Good.
I've had a really good week. It has been really busy.
I'm just happy the weather is good here because I don't think I'm gonna be inside.
Oh, look, today was the first day it has not blown the wind hasn't blown like crazy here. And I just want to thank the Lord for normal, 10 miles an hour type of wind, because it's been 30 and 40 miles an hour every single day for a week and a half.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's annoying. Yeah, today was 65. I lived outside. Okay. I was trying to not work, and I was trying to be outside. Right. But
being at school when the pretty weather starts again.
I'm just thankful for Friday tomorrow. I'm thankful for Friday.
I hear.
I don't want to rush my life or my week, but I'm thankful for Friday.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
All right, I'm going to bring on our next guest. We have Detroit Dom.
Sparty and K-State just went to OT.
Farmington Hills, Dom. Yeah.
That's what I got on.
Yeah, they're next door.
It's always interesting to see how Tom Izzo just revs it up again.
Man,
a 7 seed.
I didn't even expect them to make it here, to be honest. But we'll save that. We'll save that for the discussion. We got one more guest coming in. We got Steve Shawanda. What's up, Steve?
What's up, all? Yeah, I got the jersey. I got the 79 throwback Magic Johnson jersey on. It's an honor to be here with the hostess with the mostest, with my boy Jay Phils, with Eddie Winslow over there.
Eddie Winslow.
It's just, and then of course Dom. So yeah, it's just great. It's just great to be here. So yeah.
Okay, so like Dom was saying,
why are you copying my style with the Figaro?
Man, I know you was gonna wear yours, man. I wouldn't have worn mine if I knew you was gonna wear yours.
I didn't know you had one.
Something slight, man.
I didn't notice
y'all are annoying. Let's do a
with
shot.
the Red Brim Pirates hat.
Just real quick. Just real quick, he can't be here tonight, so I got a little Will Light just for Will.
He said he might come on at the end of the show. We shall see.
You don't love us no more.
That's what it was looking like for me, but then my plans freed up. Jen texted me. She's like, "You gonna be on?"
We got UConn up by $1 billion, and we got a overtime game on the other TV. So life is good. Life is good. So
Will told us what you thought you was Kobe. They don't love you like that.
What's the actual score of the UConn game?
Hold on, I'll check.
62-33 is the actual score. That's the actual score.
29. Begin to be about 29. Arkansas, not actually $1 billion.
Arkansas but bleeding like a stuffed pig.
Not
literally.
Quite $1 billion. But, yeah.
Okay. Cheers. And then we'll get into the show. Joseph, you don't have some water, some Powerade, or something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He ain't feeling it. No enthusiasm. None.
I miss JJ with a drink in a wonton soup cup.
Yeah. Me too.
Right. Well, you know what? I definitely support you getting your drinking in a way that when you're comfortable with it. So don't feel no pressure from us. Yes, I do have the
good for you.
Drinking is not required.
I will.
Got the heady out. Yep.
However, it is highly encouraged.
Yep.
It is encouraged, but definitely no pressure. Okay, so we're gonna start with NBA because nobody really cares what's going on in the NBA these couple of weeks. But there have been some good headlines going on, so we're gonna hurry up, go through our NBA topic real quick, and then we're gonna jump into the tournament. So, Joseph, will you start us off with your favorite NBA headline this week or a couple weeks?
I like what's brewing up in Oklahoma City. I have been enjoying watching them play. I have enjoyed seeing the maturation of their core and including a newfound player that might be added to the foundation and the forward, not Jalen Jay, Jalen Jalen Williams. I like what
because there's two Williams.
Yeah, and then they got the Kenrich Williams guy too. Yeah, so it's like I like that team. I love SGA. I love what he's doing. I remember that post I made about SGA and DeJounte Murray last year, and a lot of people did go DeJounte. I particularly did want SGA.
Before I knew he was a hoe, though.
Oh, I'm not even speaking on that one because I understand why you haven't. But I do like Oklahoma City, and I think that they have a really good chance to really become a very dynamic group of individuals because there's so much versatility on that team. So that's my favorite highlight, and I like it.
Okay. I love SGA. And so with what the Clippers are going through right now, and I know that if you have the chance to get Paul George in exchange for SGA, I mean, you probably do it. Maybe. But now it's kind of looking like OKC really kind of won that trade. I mean, the Clippers haven't done anything. So, I mean, just
OKC definitely won that trade.
And SGA has years to come of being there in OKC as long as they build around him, So, Dom, talk to us about your favorite NBA highlight of the last couple of weeks.
It was definitely Julius Randle's 57 on Monday.
Yes, good one.
This isn't your typical Kobe 57 where Kobe gets 57 on 48 shots, like 19 of 29. 8 of 14 from 3, missed 2 free throws. They still lost, which is sad, but it's funny. It took maybe it's been 2 years now. Was it 2 years ago in the playoffs when Julius Randle just absolutely disappeared?
Against the Hawks.
Just disappeared. But I really didn't know or think he could ever be this good, but Julius Randle's that guy, and the Knicks are relevant again, and that's I love that. It's like when what are they? Redskins, Commanders, whatever. It's like when the Redskins are good, it's good for football. When the Knicks are good, it's good for basketball.
It is. As long as there's at least one team in New York that is good and competitive, I think it's better for the state of basketball. The Knicks right now are sitting at 42-32 at the number 5 seed. So the first time that they've finished this well in a while. Currently, now,
shout out to the Kings for clinching their first winning season since 2008.
2006.
Oh, it was 06.
Yeah. Okay, so Michigan State is up 89-88 with 2:15 left in OT.
Izzo.
Yes. All right. Steve, talk to us about your favorite NBA headline over the last couple weeks.
Okay, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Because it's not necessarily over the last couple of weeks. It's just the last week or two and the next week or two. My biggest headline is injuries, because especially in the West. Obviously, we all know. All of you guys are basketball people. You all know. Hopefully, everybody watching our show knows. Basically, from the 5 seed to the 11 seed, there's a game and a half. 2 games, depending
all the way to the 13 seed, all the way to the 13 seed.
Depending on what day you look, depending on what day you look at the standings, we have a game and a half to 2 games back, anywhere from 4 to 12 or 13, with 10-ish games. Some teams have 9, some teams have 11, so we'll say 10-ish games to go. So that's my headline. It's all about college right now, because it's March Madness and you have the brackets, even though, in the issue of full disclosure, even though I watch basketball all the time, I've coached, I scouted, I have a recruiting service, I have a basketball website, my 15 and 12-year-old are both beating me in both my men's and women's brackets, but that's neither here nor there. So it's college basketball season, but the NBA, and I love when people try to and I don't want to get off topic, but as much as people try to oh, the NBA is bad, the NBA is this, the NBA is that, they're too this, they're too that. The NBA is really good. If you're a basketball fan, you watch. If you're not, you'll make an excuse of why I'm not watching the NBA. Nobody cares you're not watching the NBA. As a great meme says, this is not the airport. You don't have to say when you depart. Nobody cares.
Right.
If you're not watching, you're not watching.
But hey, man, send that to me. Send that to me. I like that.
Nobody cares.
I think Steve's got a good point, but I think the biggest absence of a player is not even an injury. It's the absence of Andrew Wiggins and what it means to your Warriors. Because I think that is the biggest missing person, because when he's there, it completes your team. It completes you.
You're absolutely correct. And if you watched last year's NBA Carousel, hosted by the hostess with the most, Megan Price, I always would say the Warriors have to win the title this year because everything's set up perfectly for them. People were hurt, whatever, everything worked out perfectly for them. And I really do think that Draymond and Steph and Clay and Wiggins and those guys talked amongst themselves and said, hey, we can't let this opportunity slip by us. And we saw it, and they won the championship, which is great. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Warriors fan. I love Steph Curry. If they're healthy and Wiggins comes back, I don't care if the 6, 7, 8 seed, I would still believe in them to make a run. Obviously, their road record's been terrible this year.
Dismal.
So they beat Dallas and Houston on the road this road trip. Hooray!
They had 10 road wins this season. That's it.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely terrible.
And that's 2 out of the last 3 to get to 10.
I think Megan will. I think Megan will also test to this too. But I think, sorry to cut you off. I think Megan has. I think there's one team that's in the East. There's one team that's in the East. I think it's just above all. I just think they're
the Bucks. The Bucks.
Yeah. I just think they're above all. Yeah. I just do.
I think the Celtics have a chance, but I think it's a 2-team race in the East.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
In the West, it's literally everyone.
It's 94-92 with 45 seconds left. K-State up.
Wow.
Yeah,
they just got blocked, but it's State's ball out of bounds.
They just ran a backdoor lob play for a dunk to go up. To go. Okay. Yeah.
Look, there's a reason that they handed everybody in the Big 12 losses this year. Like they kind of fell off towards the end of the season, but everybody in the Big 12, they gave them a loss this season. So K-State is somebody.
I mean, my bracket's not great, obviously. I have K-State in my Final Four because I really did.
No, they're tough. They're really
Big 12 basketball is what Big 12 football wishes it was.
Yeah.
And I want to do a special shout out to the K-State coaching staff. One of their assistants is going to come on 806 Sports in the coming weeks. So super excited to have him on board. All right. Are you done, Steve? Can I go or?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even have to go to me because I'm still in college mode. I'm still in college mode right now.
Give her the John Bender.
But I just think that injuries and can KD come back? Can Ayton come back? Does LeBron come back? Like, because the
there's
West
Zion. So I just dropped.
It could be so much fun.
I just dropped him in fantasy, and then because they were like, "Oh, he's not coming back," and then today they're like, "Oh yeah, he's probably coming back." Like, just kill him. All right. So my favorite NBA headline is. I would say I'm going to pour one out for the Hawks and DeJounte, but I'm just going to pour it in my mouth. Congratulations to getting swept by the Spurs. The grass ain't always greener, ho. All right. I'm done. John, your turn.
I want to start with my beard brother, James Harden. This man is leading the league in assists.
Okay.
Him and his teammate are scheduled to become the first pair of teammates in 40 seasons. In 40 seasons to lead the league in assists and scoring. So shout out to my beard brother, James Harden, and shout out to Joel Embiid for leading the league in scoring and assists. That was first. I had to shout out the people's champion, James Harden. Y'all know that. But mine this week was Giannis Antetokounmpo because he had a perfect triple-double. He was 100% from field goal and 100% from three to go along with this triple-double. So I thought that was amazing, but I definitely had to shout out those two things this week.
Okay, my bad, y'all. The dogs are barking. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slide over to the NCAA. What do y'all want to do first, men's or women's?
Men's.
We want to talk men's because they're going right now.
Yeah, men's is going on right now. Women don't start till tomorrow, so yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the first couple of rounds. Let's talk your favorite upsets, favorite games, whatever you want to talk about the first couple of rounds. Dom, start us off.
I'm watching K-State's diminutive point guard just throw up an air ball from like 35 feet.
Yeah, I'm watching it too.
State's got the ball back. Favorite upset. My favorite upset was Princeton over Arizona. I wanted to pick them so badly, but like this isn't the first. This is not Princeton's first rodeo for a first round upset. They have 2, 3, maybe 4 in the last like 10, 12 years. Typically, it's the 5-12, but they were so far down there, and I'm like, oh, Arizona's good, and then Princeton. Shout out to Fairleigh Dickinson over Perdon't, but I mean, we've seen this movie before.
Yeah, but it was North Texas a couple years ago. But
the North Texas Mean Green.
Mean Green. And shout out to their coach. Hopefully he ends up at Texas Tech. I hear he is the leading candidate for that job. Anything else, Dom?
Purdue and some of the rest of the Big Ten because every year, the Big Ten puts 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 teams into the tournament. And after the first weekend, 6 of them were gone. And I think the last time I was on the show, I was singing the Big Ten's praises. Like, no, it's going to be different this year. There's a lot of good teams. Like, Purdue didn't surprise me, but Sparty made up for it, and then some. And it's they got the ball back.
I'm a real hater on that one. I'm gonna be honest. I was rooting for Marquette. I was rooting for Shaka Smart. And I guess I'm just going to have to maintain that he's the D'Antoni of the NCAA. All right, Steve, talk to us about the first couple rounds.
Wow, I got to regroup after that. That's funny. Yeah,
I said it a
Shaka
few years back.
Shaka Smart is
Yeah, no, I
my
like it.
African American doppelganger.
No, I liked it.
Y'all do look similar.
Prince's upset was great, and talking about doing it before. I mean, obviously they did it with Pete Carroll when he was there at Princeton when they beat the defending national champions UCLA all those years ago. I think that was '95. Trying to show my age. I'm 40. But that was great. Purdue, it didn't bother me because I actually had them. Taylor, stop barking. Nobody wants to hear you.
It happens every week with me. Don't worry about it.
Oh, wait, hold on. Willer Light in the building.
Hi, everybody.
Willer Light in the building.
Hey, Will.
Hey, Will. Glad you can make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I'm stressed, actually, unfortunately. I'll tell.
¿Por qué? Why? Hey, Jen.
I'll say, Jen!
What up?
Hey,
So
Jen.
I'll say something real quick. Steve, I'm a little mad you didn't pull the Mike Gundy and say, I'm a man. I'm 40.
Well, let's see. Okay, when I actually turned 40, that's all I posted on my social media was just that because I've been waiting for so long to do that. But I've been 40 for three months now, so yeah, it's over now. So
you're a man. You're 40.
Yeah.
Does that make me a man too, Steve, or a woman?
That makes you
Go
a
ahead,
woman.
Steve.
Actually,
Steve, you were talking.
a lady.
It's a
lady.
It's a coach quote.
Oh, okay.
You're a lady, Jen.
Tyler, no,
I'm
you
so glad I have you fooled.
Oh my God, bro, that's hard.
Tyler,
that's really harsh. I'm close to 40. Harsh. All right.
40's
rude.
But anyway, to get back to the actual question.
Yes.
I thought going in that this tournament would be great because I really didn't think there was any great teams. I just thought there was a lot of good teams. And so far, that's happened. There's been a lot of upsets. There's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I had, and I was wrong because I had Memphis beating Purdue in the second round. Obviously,
me too.
They lost in the first round, and so did Purdue. But so I had Memphis going out early. I had Auburn beating Houston in the second round, which at halftime looked really good because Auburn was up 10, and then the second half happened. But so yeah, I really feel that. I mean, all 16 teams. Well, I'll say all 15 teams now because Arkansas is down by a bunch. All 15 teams left, we'll say left in the Sweet 16. Like 14 of them should feel like they have a chance to win the national championship. So
right,
I think that's good for the game. Where in women's basketball, which we'll get to in a second, it's basically you say, well, South Carolina or the field. Like, how much money do you have to pay me to take the field over South Carolina, right? So I think it's good for the game to be a little bit more well-rounded. So I guess that's the biggest point for me, I guess, is it's.
Hey, Megan, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, Steve. I got to jump.
Who's the favorite?
I'll be back on.
No, you're fine, Jen. You're fine.
Bye, honey.
Okay. Well, I don't. Will, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. If you need some time, we can come back to you. But right now we're talking about. Okay, right now we're talking about the first two rounds of the men's tournament. Like, what was your favorite upset? What was your favorite game? What was your favorite moment? Just kind of whatever you want to talk about the first couple rounds.
Wow, that's tough. Shout out to my North Carolina people. Duke goes down to Tennessee. Rocky Top.
Right.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Quick pause. Kansas State's point guard tonight, 19 assists.
Wow.
I saw that. I just saw that. Yeah.
Wow. So anyway,
it's 96-93. K-State up with 12 and a half seconds left in the OT. Okay, go ahead, Will. Sorry, I just wanted to update real quick.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Again, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Anyway, on to yeah, that was awesome. love seeing Duke lose, of course, as a North Carolina fan. But I love the upsets. Like, I've told people before, and you guys know I went to the UMBC Virginia game. So seeing Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue was awesome because not only is it the second time a 16 seed beat a 1 seed, but guess what? The coach for Fairleigh Dickinson got rewarded because guess what? He just got a new job.
Right.
He's going to Iona, and that's great. Like, sure, his players probably feel bad, but you know what?
It's over! It's over! I'm sorry, I'm yelling.
He didn't even get a shot off.
Okay, so I'll go one last thing. The thing is,
this is why I'm not a Spartans fan.
If he didn't take that job, you never know when those calls are going to come back. Because imagine next year if he's with Fairleigh Dickinson and they don't even make the tournament, then he'll be like, why did I pass up on this opportunity? So you know what? The best thing about March Madness, and we all can agree with this, is the parody of March Madness, the upsets, the underdogs, the buzzer beaters, the heartwarming stories. That's what we love about March Madness. Are we talking about women's too, or just the men's currently?
We're talking about women's, but we're doing men's right now.
Okay, but yeah, it's been a great first two rounds, but you know what? It's only going to get better from here.
Okay, Jahan, you next.
I won't call it my favorite upset, but it's definitely busted my bracket. I had Purdue as my national champion, so FDU, shout out to them.
Why?
But my bracket lost its first Final Four person immediately because Furman beat Virginia, so I had Virginia in my Final Four. And then Arkansas beat Kansas, so then I lost another Final Four. So I
didn't have them in my Final Four, but I definitely didn't. I didn't have Furman beating Virginia.
After
I didn't either.
I had 3 of my Final Four gone, so it was like, okay, this bracket's toast. All I have left, by the way, is
what's worse than busted.
Yeah, it was toast, but
liquefied.
Well, just real quick, we have to do a costume change real quick. Quick costume change.
My boy.
So,
my second team.
Cheers.
Sorry.
Definitely been a crazy tournament. Unexpected things happening, but I think the cream is starting to rise. Like, you're starting to see the teams that really were supposed to be there kind of show their muscle. I think you're going to see, like, Arkansas, while it was great to beat the defending champs, they really got punched in the mouth tonight. I mean, it is what it is. UConn's been a top 10, top 15, 20 team all year, so hats off to them and what they're able to do.
Right.
I don't know. It like anybody but a blue blood or Bama, and I'm happy with the result. So
I don't think there's any blue bloods left.
Yeah, UConn's a blue blood.
There is one.
UConn's a blue blood in UCLA.
UCLA, kind of.
UCLA.
And UConn is too.
Gonzaga thinks they are.
Well, UConn just got beat. Y'all don't even need to count them in. They getting beat.
Who?
Wait, no, UConn winning.
UConn won.
UConn winning. Oh, my bad.
No,
UConn's up by 25. UConn versus the winner of UCLA Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. That's going to be a great game.
UConn is they're a new blood. I won't call them blue blood. They're new blood.
Okay, Joseph, go ahead and give us your take on the men's first couple rounds.
They didn't start winning in 99.
97 they won.
No, 99.
Okay, go ahead, Joseph.
First one, 99. 99, 04, 11, and then 14.
Oh, you're right. 97 was Arizona.
Yep.
Baby.
Miles Simon. Sorry.
Yeah. And then
JJ?
Arizona beat Utah that year, didn't they? They beat Utah because Andre Miller. Andre Miller
and Keith Van Horn.
Keith Van Horn.
And Andre Miller.
Okay, y'all, let Joseph go.
So I think it's really Bama. I think Bama's been the most complete, consistent team throughout the first 2 rounds. I know from personal experience from watching them, they're my team that I think has set themselves apart to be a first-time national champion in my existence. Was surprised at Kansas losing to Arkansas. My upset, much like Steve was, I had Auburn possibly taking down Houston. I did have Memphis beating Purdue as well, but I also had Tennessee beating Duke. But I will say, if there's a team that I think that surprised me, it's the Ivy League school, Princeton. But I know those boys are rugged, they rough, they play, they get going, and they have an actual chance. And I think what we're seeing in college basketball is it's the opposite of what's happening in women's basketball, is where there are teams that are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. St. Peter's made it almost to the Final Four. Like, we forget that. And we have the 15-seeded Princeton. How much confidence do you think they have to see that last year and to be where they are this year? We might actually see a 15-seeded team possibly make it all the way. They have a tall task against the defensive juggernaut of Alabama if they make it that far. But other than the St. Peter's, the last team I remember that had a run that was improbable was George Mason, where they almost made the Final Four when they lost to Washington way back in the early 2000s. But I think that I love the upsets. My bracket, I don't care if it gets busted, because I just like seeing the reaction to the fan of everybody in the whole venue when the upset team happens. Like, I was watching when Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue. Yes, I did not think Purdue was anything. I'll be honest with you, but the committee thought they were The committee thought they were 1 seed. I never believed, and no disrespect, but they've never shown me anything to feel like I actually thought they were going to be a threat. I've seen them
I don't want to interrupt you, but real quick, everybody say it on the count of 3. What do you need to win in March? 1, 2, 3.
Coaching.
No.
Guards. Me. Purdue doesn't have guards. That's
they really don't.
You need veteran guards, and especially in this day and age. Sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'll shut up in a second. But especially with the COVID year, we have 22 and 23-year-olds play against 18 and 19-year-olds. That's the difference right now.
That's another good.
No, and that coincides with what Tyler just said about Purdue having so many playing big man ball. Are you good, Joseph, or you have more?
Just like one more comment. Shout out to San Diego.
No, you're good.
Shout out to San Diego State, because I know y'all don't like them, but I first got on San Diego State.
I know I like them. I like San Diego State.
But I'm saying I started watching San Diego State because of one, Kawhi Leonard. But that's one of my favorite players. I remember him back in the day. So I think San Diego State even is a team that has a chance to make it far too, because like you said, what Tyler said, is Stafford. I think it's open. I will say, Kelvin Sampson, if you want to win, this is your best chance. Like, get it done,
Right.
And he's a great coach. He's a great coach. I know Megan hates all things, tied to, Kawhi Leonard, but he's a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate Kawhi. I don't hate anybody else. I mean, DeJounte.
He didn't have to leave, did he?
No. Yes, he did. No, I explained this to you in the chat, but you just don't be reading the chat. Okay, he didn't sign his extension. He wanted out. It was not. No, he said he didn't want to be a part of a rebuild. That is on DeJounte. It wasn't a rebuild until his ass left. So read the chat next time, and you'll have the answer before the show.
She's not wrong, actually.
So I'm going to go ahead and read through the Sweet 16 right quick. So we have San Diego State tomorrow versus Bama. That's the 5 versus the 1 seed tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern. Hold on 1 second. All right.
I can't believe JJ picked Bama.
Then we have 15 seed Princeton versus Creighton tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Then we have Florida Atlantic, the 9 seed versus Tennessee, the 4 seed at 9 Eastern as well. Then Michigan State lost to Kansas State just now, 98-93. That was the 3 versus the 7 seed, the 3 seed coming out on top. Tomorrow we have Xavier versus Texas, Xavier being the 3 seed, Texas being the 2 seed. Then we have Miami, the 5 seed, versus Houston, the 1 seed. Then we have Gonzaga versus UCLA. And then right now we have Arkansas versus UConn. UConn up 75-51 with 8 minutes left in the half. Do y'all want to talk about any of those games real quick before we switch over to the ladies?
I'll just quickly go. So obviously UConn's gonna win this game. They're up, by a lot. I think it's gonna be very interesting. Like the Kansas State Michigan State game was really good. But I think for the most part, most of these Sweet 16 games, besides, so we have UCLA Gonzaga later on tonight. I hope that's going to be a really good game. I think most of the other games are kind of set in stone. So, I mean, we'll see. But
you're wrong.
Yeah, I think UCLA Gonzaga is going to be a really, really, really good game.
That's your opinion, Dom.
I think everybody else is kind of like set in stone, kind of like the UConn Arkansas game, which is
75-52.
So I'll make a point real quick. Are you done, Steve?
They cutting it down.
Steve, you done?
Did his connections?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Will.
Okay.
Go ahead, Will.
Thanks, Steve. Anyway, I'll make a point real quick. This UCLA Gonzaga game is going to be good. It's really good. Look at the last time they played each other. They've had each other's number. They played let's see. I wrote this down. One sec, guys.
He's going to the notes.
Shut up, Dom. Yeah, they played each other in the Sweet 16 twice, and they played each other in the Elite 8 once. So each team has a history against each other. I think it's going to be a really good matchup between Timmy and Juzang or whatever his name is. But yeah, I think it's going to be it's the best game of the week, or the Sweet 16, and both those teams are hard-nosed, determined teams. Gonzaga wants to get, of course, over that hump, win the national championship, even though I don't think they will. UCLA is a really good team. So I think they're the best team.
No, I think going in on paper, that was the best game of the week. Again, going in, they have a lot to live up to if they're going to reach Kansas State, Michigan State status, because that was a
I think
they
are going to reach it.
You know what I love?
I hope they do.
Timmy? You know what I love about Drew Timmy? I can't lie. That mustache celebration's so dope to me.
I always forget what it is.
UConn's up by a bunch. Hold on just a second.
But Gonzaga, man, Gonzaga always underachieves. Like,
yes.
Thank you.
Like, I like Mark Few a lot, and I want the best for Mark Few. I want to see him win one finally, but it makes it hard because it's like every year Gonzaga has a team in place that should be winning championship. When they first started out and they were knocking people off and they were the underdog, it was like, okay, like the underdog.
That was like 20 years ago, though.
Yeah, but now they're perennial favorites. Like this,
right, 1, 2, 3, 4 seed every year.
Yeah,
let him finish.
8 straight Sweet 16 for them. So it's like, at what point do they say, look, it's enough of us just knocking on the door. We got to kick this motherfucker in. So it's like, that's been my issue with Gonzaga, though. It's like every single year, what do we expect from them? And like I say, I like Drew Timmy. I like the F-bomb he dropped on national TV. His mom was probably pissed. Like, but they got to start getting it done. And it's not enough just getting there anymore.
You know what Gonzaga reminds me of lately? Reminds me of Kentucky a lot. Yeah, Kentucky produces one and done to go to the NBA. But look what what's his name? Pelican has done in 13 years. How many titles has he won?
One title. One title.
One in 13 years. I'm sorry, but that's the definition. Sorry, I heard a lot of noise. Joseph.
But to your point, but the thing is, we talked about
mediocrity. Hello? It's mediocrity.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about Carolina. In the last 13 years, we only got one title as well.
I think they're doing it worse though.
I do want to make I thought you had two.
It's different, but it's the same.
Make the point though. I do want to make the point though that Gonzaga wasn't even really the first mid-tier team to really make some noise. Butler was the one that did it. Butler was the one to actually had the best chance of actually winning the title until that point with Gonzaga. And I think Mark Few might go from upstart champion to be like the mid-tier to now possibly being questioned of when are they going to get it done. But they have a good chance this year. I just think UCLA might beat them.
Yeah, that's why.
Did you have another jersey change?
Go ahead, Dom.
Oh no, I was just telling JJ I just hit on a 6-leg parlay. 10 got me 265.
I was gonna say, JJ.
Listen, to that.
Hold on, guys. Y'all gotta let each other talk.
If you're old enough to remember, Will, I know you're not because you're like 17, but the rest of us, we're old enough to remember. I'm just giving you shit. We're old enough to remember that Gonzaga was the ultimate Cinderella. Like that's how this all.
But that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
25.
That's how this all happened. And then they became like, oh, they have to make the Final Four or their season's a loss, right? Like they went from the Cinderella
when you're that high of a seed, yeah,
they're supposed to win, right? And JJ Bates, it was Butler who and Gordon Hayward, like he was a half-court shot off the rim,
almost made
away from winning a national championship. You know, like that's how close they were. You know, so it's one of those things. But like, I love Adam Morrison, so I've been a Gonzaga fan for a while. So I want them to do well, but it's one of those things where eventually, if you're talking about Mark Few, eventually you have to take that next step.
Right.
And they haven't, if you're being honest.
Okay, so has everybody gone on their thoughts on this Sweet 16?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go over to...
We got to give our Final Four picks, right?
Yes, go ahead. Everybody slide through real quick on your Final Four picks.
I'll go quick.
Okay.
San Diego State, Princeton, Houston, UCLA.
Okay, Steve, you next.
How are you gonna do San Diego State and Princeton and they're in the same Dom? Anyway.
Oh wait,
he wasn't looking. He was not looking at his bracket when he said that.
No, yeah, I was just looking at the games. I forgot they're in the same bracket.
I'll make mine quick. Bama, Tennessee, Houston, UCLA.
I'll go real quick too. Bama, Kansas State, Houston. Bama, Kansas State. Sorry, I just need to look back at my bracket. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. Bama, Kansas State, Houston, UCLA.
No one's picking Gonzaga.
Right now, right this second, this is not obviously my pick at the start of the tournament, but right now, Bama, K-State, which was my pick at the beginning, Gonzaga, and Texas.
Okay. I'm going to go UCLA, Texas, K-State, and Bama. Jahan?
Since I went with Houston and all the rest of my Final Four is out, I'm gonna stick with Houston.
Ride with him, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Houston. I don't know. I kind of like Kansas State to get there. I kind of like Kansas State, and I really like Xavier. I want to say Xavier. I'm feeling them. I'm feeling them. I'm feeling them. I'm feeling them.
We had to take him
Musketeers,
off.
right?
He'll be back. He'll be back. But I just can't believe he really picked Xavier over Texas. Like, are you fucking serious?
Musketeers, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's a mid-major, and they've had. I mean,
I'm
the Final
feeling them.
Four.
I'm feeling them. They're ready right now.
How come horns?
Look, I'm about to take a shot, and we'll talk later.
Hey, Jahan, all I have to say is hook 'em horns, baby.
I don't know. Texas got a tough one on their hands.
Let's go, Megan.
No. It is.
No.
It is the biggest test that they have had of the season.
Is that game tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I think it's 8:45, 9:45 Eastern. I'm not sure.
Musketeers. Does Texas have a candy bar named after them? I don't think so.
Hush your mouth.
Come on, Tyler. Bama.
Yes, they have
Bama just found out that they have a basketball team in
Bama
February.
Has Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller's the best.
Okay, so has everybody done their Final Four? Everybody done their Final Four? All right, we're going to slide over to the women's real quick. Now, there's not as many upsets, and it's just kind of what Steve touched on earlier. Like, it's kind of predictable in the women's, but we did see a few upsets. There were a few. Mississippi State upset Creighton, and that was an 11 seed, 6 seed game. Then I know everybody was I know personally,
Stanford lost.
Ole Miss.
Stanford lost.
That was huge.
Indiana lost. Indiana lost to Miami on a BS trouble call from Miami, but that's neither here nor there, but whatever.
Ole Miss made it to the Sweet 16. That's just crazy to me that they beat Stanford. Louisville beat the crap out of Texas. You got to give respect to Louisville for that game. They've had a tough season. They've had a tough season all year long, and then they came in this tournament and they looked so dominant. So while they beat my team, I definitely want to say shout out to them. I am a Haley Van Lith fan. So, and she just proves over and over how tough she is.
She is very tough. Louisville has always been a strong defensive team. Obviously, they have some. Obviously, they have scorers. They have talent. I mean, they won a national championship. I mean, they've been good, but I think they'll beat Ole Miss. And of course, so sorry, Jordan Long, if you're listening to this. I think Iowa's going to beat Colorado because Caitlin Clark is Caitlin Clark, and Louisville and Iowa in the Elite Eight, I think, will be really fun. So it should be good. But I do think that go to the Final Four and then South Carolina. So I do think that's going to happen, and I think that will be really fun. So.
Do you want us to give our Final Four for the women, Megan?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about in the women's tournament, feel free to talk about it.
So I just want to give my.
Let Will have his turn, and then you can go, Joseph.
Yeah, please. Okay, so I've got a really good Final Four. I got South Carolina versus Iowa. And I've got LSU against UConn. South Carolina, Iowa's going to be good, but man, Dawn Staley's too much for those Iowa girls. Sorry, Caitlin, you're a great player, but South Carolina is here to stay, and they're dominant like we've seen. LSU, UConn, as much as I love my girls, something about this LSU team. And like Megan and I always say, and Megan says it best, there's something about these Kim Mulkey teams that have fire. So as much as I love my UConn girls, I got a South Carolina LSU SEC final. Aaliyah Boston versus
Angel Reese.
LSU stomped the shit out of Michigan.
Can I please finish?
They really did. They really did.
Can I please finish? I've got
You may.
I've got South Carolina by 7 in the national title game.
Okay. All right, Joseph, your turn.
I hope my girls get a chance to face South Carolina because I think that they want that matchup. You know, we played them before. We hung tough with them for a little bit, even though we lost by a little big. But I think I would love to see that matchup just because I just want to see my girls and see how they fare. I say to beat the best, you got to beat the best. I do think when you talk about Kim Mulkey, it's just she's a champion. She's won it. She knows how to win. She knows how to push her team to get the best. And she was smart. She saw that Dawn Staley had the juggernaut big girls, like the real best interior centers, forwards in the game. And so she got her one. Remember, she got her one. And I think she's like, we're going to show you we learned from that big blowout. But at the end, I don't think it's enough. I do like UConn. I think UConn there's one bracket that's perfect, and UConn is the national champion for that bracket if they win. But you never count.
It's not me. Don't think it's me.
You never know.
I want to touch on what Tyler said real quick about the chick from Miami. That chick is cold. Like that energy that Miami team bring into the tournament is just crazy.
Who is it?
Like,
who's the chick?
Well, she hit a free throw and then she told the whole crowd to shh.
Oh yeah,
loved it. Joseph, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's all. I appreciate it. I think I do think it's going to be UConn just because I don't really trust the rest of the field, but I do think that I said it last year. This is a back-to-back year for South Carolina, but I would love to see Maryland take it to the wire and hopefully get like a miraculous upset.
I don't want my girls to lose another heartbreaker.
Dom, have you had a chance to go?
No, but I'm seeing now, and it's so the women's team from the U took out Indiana, and right. I believe the men might beat Houston as well. But what I was looking at, and it's crazy, it's either South Carolina or Iowa, and it's going to take the D1 single game scoring record actually just happened in January. Ioka Lee, 61 points. It's going to take. Why am I drawing a blank? The chick from Iowa.
Caitlin
Clark. It's going to take 50 plus in the title game. But if she scores 50 or more, that's it.
They can't be
really,
in the final.
It's South Carolina.
They can't be in the finals, but they could be in the Final Four.
It'll be a Final Four game. Yeah, it'll be a Final Four game.
Okay, so I have
50 in that game.
Go ahead.
That's it.
So I have Maryland beating Notre Dame in the Sweet 16 round, making it to the Elite Eight. Obviously, I have South Carolina beating UCLA, but then I have South Carolina coming up on top of Maryland. I do think it'll be a close game because Maryland is a physical team.
Yeah, they are.
They are a team that has a lot of depth. And while Notre Dame this year, like obviously coaching matters. You know, Jahan, you're talking about this is that moment in the postseason where I guess one of those differentials, and that's what they have in Notre Dame because it doesn't matter how injured they've been this season, they're still in the Sweet 16. Like they just don't go away. And their coach, Ivy, she's the one that got them there. And so like I do think that she's an incredible coach. She's just at the beginning. Like this is just the beginning stages for her. But Maryland is deep. Like they're not South Carolina deep, but they're deep. They're deeper than Notre Dame. Then going on to the next part of the bracket, something about this Ole Miss team. I think that they're going to end up beating Louisville, but they're going to have to play Iowa, and I think Iowa comes out on top. Then I have UConn over Ohio State. I have Tennessee over Virginia Tech, but I have UConn over Tennessee going into the Final Four. And then Miami, I have over Villanova, LSU over Utah. And then I think LSU is going to end up beating Miami in that Elite Eight game. So I have LSU, UConn, Iowa, and South Carolina in my Final Four. In my championship, I I have South Carolina and UConn matching up again. Even though we're doing what we have right now, that is also what I had in my bracket. It didn't build up the exact same way, but I had a UConn and South Carolina rematch in the finals in a very close game, but I have South Carolina repeating.
Man, that would hurt because we don't have Paige yet. Paige can't play again.
Jahan, your turn.
I'm broke.
South Carolina is gonna be my champion. I've been on that wave for a long time. I would like the potential South Carolina Iowa game. I think that would do ratings that haven't been heard of in women's basketball.
We'll see that in the Final Four.
I also like the rematch that Will has stated for the championship. I think it would be a different game, but I still think South Carolina by double digits, regardless. I think because they beat them by almost 20 last time, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like
yes, true.
84-67 or something like that. But I think that Mulkey definitely championship pedigree, but I really don't think that matters. I think South Carolina's been on a mission this year, and the mission is to put their foot on everybody's neck that comes in front of them.
They guaranteed it too.
I think after Aaliyah Boston missed that putback, because they could be going for a three-peat right now. A lot of people
they're one putback away from
a missed putback, and Aaliyah Boston was crying. I think since that time, that's turned her into a absolute monster. And I think
who did they lose to in the putback game?
That was Stanford. Stanford, wasn't it?
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was Stanford. They lost to Stanford. But nothing to hang their head about. Oh, that's definitely the upset of this tournament thus far.
It's the Stanford
losing, by the way.
Without a doubt.
Also though, and I hate Miami, but shout out to the men and women's Miami team for beating IU 48 hours. That was a huge upset as well. Like, gotta tip your hat to that. Second only to the Stanford upset. But because a lot of people thought Stanford might be on a collision course with South Carolina. I did.
You trying to rub it in?
Nah, I did. I just said a lot of people.
Okay.
But
you text me and said I was wrong. Okay.
Nah, it is what it is. It is what it is, It happens to the best of us. I have Purdue as my national champion in the men's side, so it happens to the best of us. Like I say, this South Carolina team, though, they've been on a mission, and they just look unbeatable right now. And until somebody shows me that they're gonna have somebody that is gonna come in and take over a game, much akin to what's my girl with the Atlanta Dream last year that beat
Ryan Howard.
Yeah, you have to have a Herculean effort like that. I think Caitlin Clark is capable of that. I just don't, and Angel Reese could be capable of that. I just don't believe that it will happen. I think South Carolina is just too much for anybody on any given day. I think Dawn has them really rolling, and I think they will be back to back.
I remember in last tournament, you and I were talking about there was a couple of games where South Carolina looked beatable. And you told me that you think Dawn plays down to
her competition.
Yeah. She plays down to the competition. And I think that was very evident in the last round. Like at halftime, it was a very close game. And then you go into that third quarter and it's like, oh, gas, like all gas.
Yeah.
So I got to agree with that completely. Steve, did you get yours in?
I think I agree with everybody else. Like,
okay,
probably South Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina is probably bored at this point, right? Like, I'm in my bracket. I have Iowa versus South Carolina in the Final Four, and that's the game that I want to have happen. The best player in college basketball, in my opinion, against the best team in college basketball, in my opinion. So that's what I want to have happen. But yeah, I mean, I have South Carolina winning the bracket over UConn in the final, and yeah, I just. But
Man, y'all need to stop hurting my feelings.
I mean, the undefeated run, like wire to wire, happens a lot more in women's than men's.
Hasn't happened since '87, right?
And that was the knock on the women's game. That was the knock on the women's game for a long time, is that it was too predictable. Like it was UConn and everybody else.
87?
But then of course some people caught up to them, and obviously Paige hurt and other people hurt, and then South Carolina's kind of been that team, and but it's a process. But I just hope that people, and I know it's hard when it's going head to head against the men's tournament, but if you like basketball, you will watch it all. You'll watch it.
Right.
It's good basketball.
Well, and okay, so I feel like it's a little different these last couple of years, because even though we know South Carolina is on that top tier, I think this year that like 2 through 10 seed, it was like, oh, okay, well, pretty much any one of them have a chance of at least making it to that title game. And so like where you were talking about in the men's tournament, you thought it was going to be a good tournament because it wasn't a whole lot of great teams, it was a lot of good teams. I think that's very similar. I mean, we know what South Carolina is. But that 2 through 10, it was kind of like, okay, well, any one of them got a chance to make it there. And so that's what made it interesting this year. And the fact that 2 number 1 seeds got beat out as well. So, and then Texas got beat out. Like there was a couple other ones that got beat out that we thought really had a chance to make deep tournament runs. Real quick, before we end the show, let's talk favorite tournament moment outside of your own team. So it doesn't matter if it's men's or women's.
This year or all time? This year.
All time. All time.
All time.
76. Indiana was the last one.
It was what year?
76. First one, 56. Bill Russell and the San Francisco Dons.
She is really good. Do y'all think there's any way that Aaliyah doesn't go number 1?
DON.
I'm kidding.
Well, if we're talking about all time, I'm obviously going to say the 2002-2003 CMU Chippewas basketball team that beat who's this guy? Oh yeah, Kyle Korver and Creighton in the first round at Salt Lake City, Utah. In the first round, I was there as a student at Central at the time. And
was that Chris Kaman?
Yep, Chris Kaman.
The all-early man team?
6th overall pick in the draft. CK, my guy. I love Chris. He's my brother from another mother. And I haven't seen him since his father's funeral, unfortunately. May his dad rest in peace. But yeah.
Oh, wait, you really know him?
I actually know, like, I'm friends with him. Yeah, we are actually friends, yes.
Can we get him on Basket Bros?
I got you one better, but keep going.
Y'all let him finish.
No, I was just saying. It was a great moment when you're talking about great moments. That was a great moment. Salt Lake City, we drove to Utah. Talk about 2003, 2004 memories. We had to buy an atlas. We had to go to a road atlas at a gas station to find it when 80 was closed for a snowstorm. We had to buy an atlas to go up to Wyoming and then back down to get to Salt Lake City. Now you just throw in your phone and you'd be good. But yeah, 2003, that was not the same. But whatever.
Okay, Will, you next.
I think we all know what it is. I was at the UMBC Virginia game. I'm not either of their team fans. You said choose one of not your team. Me going to the UMBC Virginia game was the best.
Okay. Dom.
In 1994, number 8 seed, Eastern Michigan University, faced number 9 seed Duke and ran them right out the tournament, Earl Boykins. And I know him personally as well. Can't say we're like friends.
The Squirrel Boykins.
Earl did the Jimmy Butler thing before Jimmy Butler did. Like, he showed up at practice pissed off and was like, give me 9, 10, 11, and 12 against 4 starters and your best guy on the bench. We're going to house you. And he did. And they beat Duke in the tournament. My buddy was the equipment manager. I was like, dude, I'm like, tell me you didn't punch Coach K in the throat. He's like, no, I just shook his hand wearing my Eastern Michigan warm-ups. I figured that was good enough.
Okay, Joseph.
By far, Mississippi State ending UConn streak on that game-winning shot was my favorite.
Joseph.
Yeah, that was
because
a good moment.
because what they did is there was a clip that came out. I know, Will, but it's just there was a clip that came out and it resonated through the entire state of South Carolina and the entire college. Baseball team was watching, football team, basketball, everybody was watching. And I watched that game live and I couldn't believe it. That was Dakota Prescott's rookie year, I believe, or that something like that. So, and I remember is
this when Tierra McCowan was on the team?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I love that moment because I respect juggernauts, but I like to see a juggernaut get beat and when nobody expected it, and that was definitely that moment.
I'm hurt tonight. I got stabbed a few times. Let's just say that.
Okay, so I'm going to do my moment real quick just to piggyback off of what Joseph said because it involves Mississippi State. Actually, mine is the 2018 championship when Notre Dame beat Mississippi State. Arike hit the game-winning shot. We know Arike, she plays for my WNBA team, so even though she's not my team because it's always Texas in the tournament, but she plays for my WNBA team. It was one of my favorite moments. It was Muffet's only championship. Just a great moment, just an incredible moment. So, Jahan, you end the show.
I'm going with 2. I think you got to go with 98 Valpo over Ole Miss.
Yes.
Bryce
Drew,
Coach's son. Hits the 3 to send Ole Miss home. Like, I can remember where I was. It was stunning. And then, of course, Chef Curry's run in 2008.
I remember that.
Beat Gonzaga in the first round.
Yeah, like
crushed Georgetown
in 2008. I mean, he was out here giving 40-piece McNuggets in the tournament and became a household name. So that's definitely mine too.
And want to talk about Tyler's.
Is Georgetown even D1 anymore?
That just covers. I watched that game yesterday. That is CJ's coming out party.
CJ, because we know Tyler knows CJ, and so I just wanted to shout that out. And then his honorable mention is the George Mason's entire run.
Wait, you know CJ?
That is why Tyler is my brother, because I literally was thinking about both of those. That is why he's my brother. I was literally thinking about both of those. George Mason, one of their players.
And Cool said the same thing about Duke and Virginia. So I want to go ahead.
George Mason, the one that was on the George Mason squad. He played my high school, and he was the best player on Springbrook, and we lost to him in triple overtime during the regular season of his senior year, Fowler and Campbell.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to end the show, but I just want to say, hey, Cool, Tyler, Jay, we had a couple other people that were commenting the entire show. I really appreciate y'all watching the show and commenting, getting the comments back up. Like, I felt like if you can't be on the show, commenting and watching, that's such a huge help too. So we really appreciate that. And cheers to the tournament, March Madness. And we will see you back next week with some more results.
All right, you guys. Thank you.
And shout out to y'all for being on the show. I appreciate that.